So as we go through the other pieces on here, the good thing is once you make these decisions on fonts and everything, from a branding standpoint, you want to be consistent on everything. So as we move down to the envelope down here, let's go over the parameters again on here. You cannot have a black envelope, all right, for two reasons. Yeah, in this day and age, the address is probably going to come on a sticker, but you are going to have situations where you have an envelope and you're going to want to be able to write the address on here. If you have a colored background or a pattern or something, it's not going to be legible. All your mail is going to come back to you. So we know we have to keep this area clear here. So just remember that. This we have to keep clear as well. Yes, people still use stamps, but most mail gets metered. And you need to keep this area clear so that when it is stamped and metered that they can read it. If they can't, your mail is going to be returned to you. So we know we can't put anything up there. And then down here, everything that goes through the post office, they electronically scan the address. It's converted into a barcode, which is then printed down on the edge here. Could you put color down here? Yeah, you could. You just can't have anything with numbers or letters down here. So your address, phone number, whatever else you want, web address cannot go down here. So we understand that. And again, like I said, once you make these design decisions, you can just copy and paste stuff. So get rid of my placeholder logo, fake type, fake this. I can actually just select all this, and keyboard shortcut, you can either copy it up here. I always just hold the Option key down and drag off a copy. And you'll see you have the same printing concerns here. This blue bar on the left side of my envelope, if I want it to touch now the left side and the top and bottom, I need to make sure that it goes out to these bleed lines on here. Could you do something where you ghost a logo back here? This you could do, but again, it has to be light enough that I can write a logo over here. Also, just realize when people put a sticker on here with an address, you're going to block out Hornets, but it's not a bad thing because then I can still read Fullerton College on there. One other option you have on here is with the flap, all right? What you could do is, instead of doing this bar down the side, maybe you decide it would look really cool if the flap on the envelope was this blue color. And I have the logo here. What about if I put the address on the flap? Would that work? Why not? This is the return address. It can go wherever you want, as long as the post office can find it. So who can see a problem with me doing this?
It's upside down.
It's not upside down now.
Yeah.
What happens when I lick it and close it? Then it will be upside down. So I just click on the rotate tool and go 180. And now when it is licked and closed, you can do that. Another option, and people do that, so I'm going to back this up a little bit. And you'll notice on the flap too, you still have the red bleed line that I filled in with the blue. And actually, I forgot to do this on the template. If you want to work with the flap here, go back here and send it to the background, because the gray line on here is actually where it's going to be trimmed. So the red line is your bleed. The gray is actually where this would be trimmed out. Now, a lot of people also choose to do this. And I'm going to take my logo here and I'm going to make it really small. And this could be something I use for branding here too. I'm going to turn my logo into a pattern. So I'm going to come up here and do Object, Pattern, Make, hit OK. It's added this pattern in here. And what I can do, you can still play with this. So what I'm going to do is, there it is. I'm going to rotate it slightly, and I'm going to do it in a brick pattern, and I'm going to space it out just a little bit more. And with patterns, I'm going to go ahead and save this as a copy, and I'll just call it Hornet logo. I hit OK. You can see it's been added in here as well. Hit OK. And with pattern editing, you always have to, you can't just click the X here. You have to actually come over here and exit it. And there you can see I've got duplicates in here, but I put this in here because for branding, you might want to use a pattern. So what happens if I leave my envelope with the blue banner over here, or the blue bar, and I go ahead and do this and fill this with my pattern? Does that work? Same thing. When I lick this and close it, my logo is going to be upside down. Here is what you can do for that. I'm going to hit Command Z and go back. I'm going to take this full shape, the whole flap with the bleed on it, and I'm going to rotate this 180 degrees. Now I'm going to fill it, and now I'm going to come back here and rotate it back. So it's kind of a little extra step you have to do, but that way if you have any patterns, and the pattern doesn't have to be your logo. When we talk about branding, you can brand with color. You can come up with a pattern that is based on something, you know, for Angela, your foot logo. If you wanted to just create a noodle pattern or something that could go over everything, you could do that. So those are some tips on here. Again, as you finish these, you can delete all the instructions on here. These are just guides for you. Anyone have any questions on this?